What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I am here today. So I was gonna do I was gonna do 4 videos, but I'm only gonna do 3 right now and 2 later because I was gonna do Married at First Sight. But since that was Wednesday and we're at Sunday, I'm not gonna do it this week. But we will be back next week with the episode of Married at First Sight. So this episode right here is gonna be Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season number 6. Episode 3, and the episode was titled Hasta Leticia, baby. But before we go ahead and get into this review, you guys, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and aren't subscribed yet, then do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning your post notifications on, sharing the video. And with that, you guys, without further ado, let's discuss Love and Marriage Huntsville, shall we? All right, you guys. So before we get into it, I do also want to apologize that these videos are late. So if you guys saw, I did a live yesterday for Rated to Love. And in the process of doing that video, I noticed that this ear, it got clogged up. I couldn't really hear very much, hear well out of it, right? So after the live ended, I went to go clean my ear, and I guess there was a whole lot of earwax in there, and it got lodged into my ear. So I couldn't hear anything. Like, I couldn't hear anything for quite some time. I just really got the hearing back this morning when I was able to, I went to Walmart and bought some stuff to clean it. And then I got this little thing and I stuck it in there and sucked out all the residual. Because if you don't know, I am partially deaf in my left ear. So if anything goes wrong in this ear, I can't hear anything. And I was trying to watch Love and Marriage Huntsville last night, and I couldn't hear shit. Turned the closed captioning on, and I was like, this is horrible. So we're here with the episode, you guys. So this episode, it picked up where we last left off with Leticia and Kiki talking to each other, right? So it's interesting to watch this because, you know, Leticia's telling Kiki that she was hurt by all the things that happened last season with her and Kiki. We all remember the Christmas party that Mel had where Kiki was there basically shitting on her cousin, right? So Tisha also told Kiki that, you know, Kiki was like, you know, Leticia had pulled away from her when she needed her the most, right, in her life, when she was dealing with her addiction. And Leticia was like, you know, I pulled away from you because at that time you were not, I mean, you weren't the easiest person to deal with. I mean, somebody who's an addict. And then Leticia was talking about she was pregnant, and at one point Kiki said, fuck you and that baby. We would have been done at that point. Like, it wouldn't have been no coming back from that. So Leticia does apologize to Kiki, right? She apologized to her, and Kiki apologized to her. So at the end of it, Leticia says that she's going to be having this girls thing. So she invited Kiki, and Kiki said that she'll come. Me personally, if this were me, I don't think it would be a long time before me and my family members were ever able to move on from this, because it's one thing to be upset with me, right? And like I keep going back to the situation with Kiki, it doesn't make any sense because, like I said in last week's review with Kiki, we saw Kiki the season that Leticia had graduated from school, and they were at that graduation party, and she was on Team Leticia coming at Kimmy, right? But then we move forward, and you have an issue with Leticia for something that happened years ago. So it's just like, really? Make it make sense. It doesn't to me, right? But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, that's your family. Mel is a friend of yours. Blood is supposed to be thicker than water. And like I've said in previous reviews, if it comes down to me and my family, I'm never going to link up. Even if me and my family don't get along like that, I'm never going to link up with somebody that I know has an issue with my family, because that's not going to happen. Like, that's my blood. That's my family. We're going to be family until the day that we are both or all placed into the ground. Like, no. But let's keep going, you guys. So we see Marcel. So Marcel met up with his dad, Mark Sr. I was like, so we finally meet the infamous Mark Sr., the person that I've always wondered, who is he? Like, what values did he teach to these boys to have them, have these, let's just keep it real, archaic ass ideas about what a marriage is and what it means to be a man. And it's, yeah, pleasantly surprised. I don't know if I should say pleasantly surprised or just surprised to see what I saw, right? So the dad, when he was talking, I was like, so where does Marcel and Mark and Marcel get these ideas about relationships? Because the dad, so he's visiting them from Michigan. He's telling Marcel how proud of him he is. Then he's telling Marcel, like, you need to spend time with your family instead of chasing after the dollar signs. I was like, wow, who is this person? Because the way that these Scott brothers act, you would expect somebody who is a Neanderthal. Like, you would just expect that. And he didn't seem that way, right? He was telling him how, he doesn't want Marcel to make the same mistakes that he made, right? Because he didn't really take a vacation until he was in his 50s and he went on his first cruise. I'm like, well, sir, because he was talking about he worked at General Motors. And I was like, okay, I get it. People back in those days working for General Motors and, working for any of those plants or big plants, right? That was the goal. Get there, make the money, and take care of your family, right? But when did they carve out time for their actual families? And I think that's what the dad is trying to say to Marcel. And I hope he takes his dad's, what his dad is saying to heart. Will he? We shall see. And it was in this moment that I finally realized that this episode was heavily focused on the Scots 1.0. I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is a horrible episode. I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. So I don't expect this video to be long at all because this episode to me was boring as hell. And I don't mean it boring in the sense of there was no, I don't need all the drama. I don't need that. I just don't want to sit here and watch an episode full of Marcel and Leticia. I don't need that whatsoever. Let's pause here and move forward, you guys. So next up, let's go ahead and just talk about Leticia. Actually, I think I just want to go ahead and wrap this up. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this episode. So we see Leticia at one point. So she was meeting up with Kimmy, right? And, she's telling her about the fact that Marcel has a new business partner with Scots and that the business partner is in her office. And she knows that because she saw his degree hanging on the wall, and Marcel told her that there were no degrees to be on the wall. I was like, huh? The way he talks to that woman, it just wouldn't be, it wouldn't be me. Like, he talks sometimes, the way he talks to her times, it's like she is right here and he's up here. Like, she's dumb and he's, the smartest person in the world. Like, I don't get it. So they're talking. While they were talking, Melody happened to call, right? So Melody called and asked Kimmy, like, hey, can you go out and can you get massages? And she was like, yeah. And she's like, I'm with T right now, right? So Tisha says, can I talk to her? She said, okay. So Tisha got on the phone and told Melody, like, hey, I'm having this girls event and I'm inviting all the ladies and I wanted to extend the invitation to you. And so Melody said, okay, well, just give Kimmy the information and I'll be there. And I thought that was very mature of both Leticia and Melody. And I liked it. Like, I like when they can, I'm okay with the shade. I'm okay with a little bit of drama, right? But it has to make sense at times, right? Y'all be arguing over the dumbest stuff sometimes. Let's just keep it real, right? So I'm gonna skip over the event and then come back to it later. So the next scene that we saw was the Scots, and they were having dinner. This is where Marcel really lost me, Marcel specifically, right? Because they sat down for dinner, and he was like, oh, mom cooked. But I mean, she's so busy, so she can't really cook for us every night. I was thinking what the kid said, so you can't get your lazy ass up and go in the kitchen and cook us something to eat? You got two hands. You got two hands too, my nigga. Get your lazy ass up. Go in the kitchen, cook. If you're hungry, cook for yourselves. Like what the? I don't know how she's married to that man. It just couldn't be me. And she even called him on it. Like, why would you do that in front of the kids? He said, oh, they know I was just joking. Did they really? But it also backfired on you because your kids said you can get your ass up and go in the kitchen too. So touche, right? Like, oh, Jesus. And then they start talking about The Office. Now, this is where I really kind of tuned out because when you listen to Marcel talk to her, this is like I just said a few minutes ago. Honestly, when he talks to her, it actually, to me, it comes off as if she is a stupid person, but a stupid person wouldn't have the degrees that she has, and now she has her broker's license, so she's not an idiot. And it's just the way he talks to her. He gaslights her. He talks in riddles, and he talks in circles, and I couldn't deal with that because it's almost like he's the smartest person in the room, and she's too stupid to just even have logical common sense, right? Because she was talking about her office. She was talking about, she should know everything that's going on with Scots, like the hiring and the firing. He's saying, oh, well, you're the owner, so you shouldn't know this, but I'm the president. I was just in here thinking to myself, like, how stupid do you think anybody is? The owners, just as much as the president, can have a say-so on who gets fired. I'm going to give you, because you wanted to use a sports analogy, so let me give you a good sports analogy, right? Jerry Jones, the Dallas Cowboys owner, he is very instrumental in especially with the coaches, very instrumental in that. Very instrumental. He knows all that's going on. I mean, when it comes to the NFL draft, the coaches, the owners, they all have a say-so in who they want to bring to the team. So it's a collaborative effort. It's collaborative. And I guess, I don't know if, the way he talks to her is as if she's an imbecile. It's as if she's slow. Because, okay, yeah, she's the owner. She's still, that's still a collaborative effort. You still want to run, it's a partnership. In a partnership, everybody has a say-so. The only way you guys only way that wouldn't be the case if you guys had a board of directors. The board would trump you guys, but you guys don't have a board. So, like I said, he talks to that lady as if she's stupid. Because I was just sitting there listening to that whole scene, and I was just like, I just boiled it down to, he really thinks he's smarter than she is. He really thinks that he can just talk his way through things, and that's a problem. But not for me. If she likes it, I love it. But let's pause here and wrap up this episode, you guys. All right, you guys. So the episode ended. We see the ladies as they show up for the spa day, right? Everyone is there. We find out that Tiffany has a little bit of an issue with Kiki, and honestly, what she said, I agree with it, right? If you can stab your own family in the back, what the fuck will you do to me? So I don't want to be around you, and I am in agreement with that. I don't see it for Kiki, would never see it for Kiki, right? Because like I said, if you can do some grimy shit like that to your cousin that you said was your best friend at one point, no, that ain't. I don't need you in my life. I don't need you in my orbit. I don't need you anywhere near me, bitch. Go somewhere with that shit. Go away from me with this, Apollo, right? So Stormy said to Kiki and to Tisha, like, damn, y'all really do look alike. So not Tiffany, but Kiki was like, well, that's a compliment for her. Run that back. It's a compliment for her, meaning it's a compliment for Leticia, but not a compliment for you. And I think Tiffany caught that little slight shade. Because I was like, it's a compliment for her. She said y'all look alike, so that's a compliment for both of y'all that y'all, she's saying that y'all look alike. Well, and I mean, honestly, if we're gonna be honest, who do I think looks, nope, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do a comparison. We are not gonna compare. We're not gonna compare. But I mean, they do look alike. They look exactly like, even that cousin that we met last week, Courtney. I would love to know what their grandparents look like, because those genes are very strong. Kind of like my family. We have strong genes because so many of us look alike. So many of us really do look alike. Like, I have a cousin that looks like me, and then I have a cousin who looks like one of my uncles who's deceased. So my family, we all kind of resemble, we actually do resemble each other a lot. It's a lot of us that look alike. So now Tiffany, I do want to say that Tiffany was doing the most when she put that sock on her hand, talking about she doing the sock puppets. I was like, now Tiffany, most, y'all know most times I don't see it for her, but when she's right, she was right about the Kiki stuff, but the sock puppet stuff, girl, let it go. And I will say one nice thing about Tiffany, the pregnancy glow. She looks beautiful. She looked really beautiful, and her makeup was done nicely. She actually looked her age. She didn't look old and frumpy. She did not look old. She didn't look old. That's all I'm gonna say. I want her to, she looked really good, right? So the ladies split up. So 3 ladies were getting in the sound bath, and 3 ladies were on the chair getting a massage, right? So in the sound bath, it was Mel, it was Tiffany, and it was Stormy. With the chairs, it was Leticia, Kiki, and Kimmy, right? So with Stormy, Melody, and Tiffany, Tiffany was talking about how she feels about Kiki, right? And like I said, valid points, right? The fact that, you really was talking about your cousin in a negative light with an outsider. Like, if you could do that to your cousin, what would you do to me, right? And I only surround myself with people who I think are good people. Stormy, you, Kimmy, Leticia. And so Mel was over there like, well, I'm just over here enjoying the sound bath, this room, ambiance, the energy. And she was like, then that's deflection. I'm like, it absolutely is deflection. Like, very much so deflection. And I was with Stormy like, bitch, what? When it comes down to Mel, let's just keep it real. I don't think Mel, oh God, I'm not even gonna say this because I don't need anybody coming in my comments trying to defend her. So I'm gonna let it be. I'm gonna let that go. Because I don't want to argue. That's why I really haven't tweeted about this show except for the first episode and last episode. Oh, God, I can't stand the millimeters. I'm sorry, the millimeters annoy the shit out of my spirit. They are toxic. It's one thing to have a favorite, right? And I'm okay with you guys having favorites. It's fine. Just because I say something that differs from your thoughts and opinions, you don't have to attack people. You don't have to try to convince people of what you're trying to say. And I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say about Melody, why I feel she was deflecting, but it was definitely deflection. So that's it. So over with Kimmy, Leticia, and Kiki. Kiki is telling Kimmy that she believes that she and Leticia are in a much better space with each other. And, Kiki is telling Kimmy, like, I thought me and you were good, but then you went back and you relayed this to Leticia, and I didn't think you were coming from a place of, mending fences. It kind of felt like you were instigating. And I was like, well, I didn't take it that way. I didn't see it as instigation. Is that a word? I think it is instigation, right? I didn't see it as her being an instigator, right? Instigate. Oh, it is, because you instigate things, right? Okay. So I didn't see it that way. I really more so specifically saw it as, you know what? We were filming a scene with each other, and I was there, and I don't want Leticia to watch this back on the show and then be like, oh, so you knew about it and you didn't tell me. what was said. Like, I think that's how I took it. And I want you guys to tell me how you took it, right? So Kiki was like, but you didn't tell her what Stormy said. You didn't tell her what Stormy said. And she said, yes, I did tell her what Stormy said. So meanwhile, Stormy in the room next to them. And so Stormy said, huh? So they went over there to see what was going on. Now, when they got in the room, and I love the fact that, you know, Kimmy was still saying Stormy's name. So she was still talking. Even when they walked in, she didn't change the subject or nothing. And I respect that, because I hate when people do that. When you walk into a room and you clearly hear people talking about you, but then when you walk in a room, they all get quiet and be like, no, keep the conversation going. And Stormy said that, let's keep talking about Stormy. But Kimmy wasn't saying anything negative about Stormy. It was more so Kiki who brought Stormy's name up in this situation, right? So then Kiki wants to address Tiffany, right? I mean, whatever she want to say, you can dress it up in that she wasn't there. And, you know, Tiffany was like, I know I wasn't there, but I saw Leticia crying and it didn't look right. It did not look right. I'm sorry. You can't dress that up any kind of way. You were being shady and shitty to your own cousin. You were spiting your cousin for Melody. Y'all might not agree with that, and I don't really care. But that's what it was, right? They can say whatever they want to say. I know everybody says, oh, well, Melody's explained it. I said it last week and I'm going to say it one more time. Here's my issue when it comes to that part with Melody, right? Melody does little underhanded things on the show, right? But then when she gets into interviews, that's when she wants to clear everything up. And I don't have time for that. I'm not going to sit here and watch nobody. I'm not going to sit here and watch an interview to see her try to clear the air months later after the shit happened. I do not care. So that's all it is. And please don't tell me nothing about, never mind. I was about to say something, but I said it last week and I'm just going to let it go. That's the episode, you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, turn your post notifications on, share the video, and until the next time, you guys stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.